So this is Rochelle Gagnon. He is the co-host of the Robby and Rochelle in the Morning Show on 107.1 The Boss in New Jersey.
Yes.
On the website, it literally says they live together, they have kids together, they play classic rock. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, that pretty much is very straightforward and explains everything.
Pretty much it, except we don't really play a lot of classic rock. We've kind of changed the format since we've been there. It's more classic hits, I guess you would say, than hard classic.
So your other half is literally your other half.
Yes.
You are married to your co-host, Robby.
I am married to my co-host and my boss. Yes. And we are together all the time. And the one question we always get is, how do you do that? How are you with this person all the time? And the answer is, we don't know anything different because we started out working together and that's how we met. And so I think it would be strange to be in a position where we weren't together all the time.
You started out working together, but you weren't living together,
We weren't living together.
That is like a whole other...
It is. I mean, living with somebody is definitely a different situation, but I am lucky in the sense where he is just really like, whatever you want to do with the house, however you like it, and I'm a control freak as it is, and so I mean, you know that. So
I'm the same way.
So it's
there was like a video of you watching him try to like follow a recipe and cook, and you were like, okay, but
anxiety,
literally
like,
the
just
whole
like,
time I'd be like, I have to walk away. Just tell me when
Yes.
it's done because you're gonna give me a heart attack.
I
and
just
if I
start
have to wash
drinking.
these dishes too,
Yes.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. So living together was actually easier than I thought it would be because he just is really easy to live with. He's not, you know.
Well, he's older than you are, right?
is,
Like,
he
so
is.
he's set in his ways. He does his own thing. And
Yeah.
as long as he's like, cool, like, let me know when you need me. And like,
And that's
then you're
exactly,
good.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. He's
As
like,
long as he's not like parenting you.
oh God, no. If anything, it's the other way around, 100%. I mean, even at work, it's really funny. We talk about this, but a lot of people will come to me before they go to him to make
Right.
sure that whatever they're going to say is okay.
Right.
And he doesn't, you know.
So is he like crotchety old man?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
But not that it's not even an age thing. It feels like Robby has always sort of been
yes.
that kind of guy.
He's
where
in-
it's like,
yeah.
he's in radio DJ mode and his brain is focused on that. And
100%.
then anything you throw his way that's like a curveball, it's like, wait a minute.
It's a
like,
stressor.
I'm trying
It
to
becomes
create
a
right
stressor.
now.
Yes.
Like, why are you asking me this question? That's
Yeah.
nothing to do with the show right now.
Yep. And that's 100% his personality
Right.
in and out of work. So it's when we started dating and we moved in and we became a couple, I was still just dating the guy that I was talking to on air. He's no different. He doesn't have a
Right.
radio voice. He doesn't have
That's his voice all the time.
That's his voice
Okay, sorry.
100% of the time.
That would annoy the shit out of me, Rochelle. He does not talk like that all the time. That is his voice all the time.
All the time.
I'm Robby Bridges. There's Rochelle.
That's me.
We're Robby and Rochelle in the morning. Welcome to 107.1 The Boss, the world-famous WWZY-FM here in New Jersey.
Okay, this is because, is he celebrating, 31 years in radio?
Yes.
He's been in radio since he was like a teenager.
He was 10. He was 10
That's insane.
when he started working in
So
radio.
he doesn't really know what his real voice is.
That
because
is his real voice. That's his voice.
Okay, that's how he
So,
talks.
yeah, there's no differential between when we're at home and when we go to the
So you
grocery.
can't be like, turn radio Robby off right now. I
There's-
need husband Robby now, stat.
There's no. It's one and the same. Which makes being on air kind of fun because sometimes we joke to each other that we will take our problems on air because it's almost like our safe space.
Yes.
You know, it's like we know that we have to be a little bit filtered, and so you don't blow up at each other, and we're able to kind of talk through some things without it getting out of hand because while there's no one else in the room with us,
There's
we
millions
know
of people listening.
right, and so it's like a safe space for us to come with a problem, and I think it's actually
Because you're not going to go past the line.
Right.
You're not going to go past
we can't
that
go
one
past that line,
right.
and we both know that, and so and because he is so radio focused, he focuses on that first. So whatever issue
Is it a good enough topic to talk on the radio? Period. Is
Right.
the first and only thing.
right, and so it works. I mean, we have no issues with it. It's not a big deal to us that we do this on air.
Well, you are used to that because, I mean, you worked with me in radio for a local radio station. And so you learned life is literally all topics.
All
and the same
topics.
thing with, I mean, you've done social media too now. Everything is content.
Everything.
Everything is content.
Everything is
I'm
content.
brushing my teeth. Yes, that's content.
Right. How do you make that funny though?
Yes.
And you taught me that. And I actually, we just spoke at a radio conference last weekend in New York. And these are all students who are wanting to go into broadcasting one way or another. And one of the questions they had was, how do you come up with your content? And I said, you can get the Kate Middleton story anywhere. What are you doing? Your audience wants to know what you're doing, but what you're doing has to also make sense and be funny. And you have to find, for us, we try to find the funny in everything.
Right.
We're not the show that you're going to come to and hear somebody crying. We try not to do that. Sometimes it just happens because it is real life. But we try to be like the funniest. And so we try to find the funny in everything that we do, whether that's, dropping off the kids to school or brushing our teeth or how we cooked dinner last night. Every single thing that we do is content. And I seriously learned that from you in having to send you my topics every week. Every week on Sunday, you're like, where are your topics? And sometimes it's funny. I've gone back and referred to those.
They're great. They're great to go back to refer to.
Yes, they're fantastic.
Oh my God, it's like a diary too. I was like, oh my God. So
Yes.
that's one of the things I want to do one day is like literally hire a VA to go through all my Gmails. And just like put them in a book for me.
Absolutely.
So I can remember them forever. Because it's like you don't realize the most mundane stuff that you're just like, is relatable.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
dumbest is more relatable than the bigger, like, I can make a hook out of this. The hook is everything more than the topic itself. But
Right.
It's always that stuff that you're just like, I had no idea this was going to be huge.
I know.
And it's because it's relatable. That's what I think everything has to be authentic and relatable now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the space that we're all coming from. So explain to me when you're planning a marriage and a wedding on the air, how easy was that? Because that's stressful enough as it is.
Yeah, it is stressful. So this was Robby's first marriage. My second.
So he's never been married before.
He's never been married before, but every single person he dated, he asked to marry him. So, and I always tease him because he's been engaged, including me, 4 times. So this is the first one he actually went through with. And that's, again, because I'm a control freak, and I said, this is happening. So this is happening.
For real? Okay.
For real.
Pause that for a second. When he proposed to you in New York City, did he not have a ring?
No.
Was it just the moment that he decided to take? Because my husband did the same thing.
Yeah.
We were on a canoe.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to die. He didn't have a ring, didn't plan to propose. And
Yeah.
was just like, oh my God, in this moment, I just realized I don't ever want to live without you, even if we're possibly dying.
Yeah.
And so he asked me to marry him. And I have it on video, which is insane. Because I was literally
is
like,
insane.
okay, well, if anybody finds us, like our bodies in the canoe, because we thought we were like, the weather just flipped. We were up north in a canoe on like the Rifle River.
Yeah.
And literally it was just one of those things where I just then panned to him and he was like, in that moment, decided to ask me to marry him. No ring. Because to me, honestly, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't ruin the moment.
Right.
So did he plan it without the ring? Or did he just have that moment where he was like, I realize on this trip to New York City, I want you to be my wife and never leave my side.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And I preferred it that it was that way because every other time he proposed to somebody, he had a ring and it was planned and it was his thing. And with me, we were on a trip. We were actually broadcasting in New York. And I went that night and had dinner with his family and we met his whole family. And it was like 3 days where we were together with his whole family. And it was the second to last day of our trip in New York. And we had gone to dinner. We went back to the room and it was like 2:00 in the morning. He's like, let's go for a walk. And this is not him.
You're like,
I'm like, I've had a lot to drink. Like, I'm not going to go for a walk right now, but whatever. This is what you want to do. So we went for a walk and we're in front.
I love that you got up at 2 a.m. in New York City.
I mean, we had just gotten in, so it wasn't like we had been laying down.
Okay, because if I had taken my shoes off and put my pajamas on, I'd be like, go yourself.
No, we hadn't got that far.
As soon as shoes are off, I'm done.
I know. Well, we went back to the room, and he was like, I think we should go for a walk. It's a nice night. Mind you, it's December, so it was not a nice night.
It's great.
We walked and we were staying at the New Yorker, which is across, you can see the Empire State Building from the
Which
New
is
York.
all lit up at night.
Right. And
beautiful.
he's, being the radio geek, he loves the old school radio Z100 from the top of the Empire State Building.
We have to talk about that.
Yes. And so we were standing there and I turned around and he was on his knee and me being the control freak one and then also having OCD with like dirt I'm like, get off the ground, what are you doing? Get up. And then he proposed to me right then and there and I was just like, are you serious? Are like really? And I said yes, and then there was a pizza place across the street and we went and had a really gross piece of pizza and that's what it was. It was just kind of total spur of the moment. And the next day I had an appointment at Kleinfeld's and I went and bought a wedding.
Well, not just the next day. You literally within a month had a wedding venue. Did you have your wedding venue before you even had your ring?
So no, I had my ring. I did
Okay.
have my ring at that point. The wedding venue is actually kind of funny. We didn't anticipate getting married so quickly. That was not our intention. I first of all didn't want a big wedding, but because this was his first, he comes from a big Italian Portuguese family. They wanted the wedding.
You're doing the wedding.
We're doing the wedding.
You don't have a choice.
There was no choice in the matter. So
This is what's happening.
fine, whatever, it's fine. Well, we went to this venue, which was kind of something that it's called Roger Williams Park, and it was in Rhode Island, which is where he's from. And his family had done a ton of events there. He had high school events there, and just this beautiful old casino. And you have to bring everything in. It's a huge pain in the ass.
Literally, it's just a space.
It's a space.
Like, good luck with that.
Right.
With lighting and drapes and flowers.
Chairs. We had to bring in chairs, silverware, plates,
I literally,
everything.
in my head, have a spreadsheet right now.
I know.
Of, like, everything.
Everything.
Oh, my God.
So we go in there and we're inquiring about dates, and the only date they had available for 3 years happened to be June 22nd, 2019, which was 6 months after. It was 6 months from that day.
Yeah.
Well, June 22nd happened to be his grandparents' wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And it was the only date they had available
course.
for 3 years.
I mean, it's meant to be.
So we were like, I guess
we're
this is
doing
happening.
it.
This is
Right.
happening. And so we weren't really trying to rush into anything. That was not the intention. But because that date happened to be available and it was so special to him and this place was so special, I was like, well, if we're going to do the wedding, this is what we're doing. I mean, I want to go to a beach. But if this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And that it just kind of, it all happened very quickly.
And did the best man really forget the rings? I listened
Yes.
to one of your segments, and I was like, does this really happen? Because I would have died.
So our best man was Rochelle Gagnon,
Okay.
who
Oh
is
my
a radio
God,
DJ
yes.
in Detroit. Yes. And love Kel, one of our greatest friends. Absolutely love him. So for their wedding gifts, we gave them flasks. Biggest mistake ever. Biggest mistake ever. They were in the back of we are at this very, very, very Catholic church, right? Him and the priest are all back there doing shots, and he actually forgot the ring. And we had like the security guy at the church.
Like at the hotel or at the church? Like
At
where?
the church in the back though, where they were all drinking.
So he wasn't sure like where he put it down.
He had no idea. So, and at the ceremony, this security guy who we had at the wedding had to go in the back and search for the rings.
Oh my God.
We really forgot the rings at the
Did he
altar.
find it though at least?
We found it, and it was so funny because again, this is a very Catholic church. They're very, they have their rituals and everything that they do. And I am Catholic, but I'm not practicing.
No, we're not going every Sunday.
You're right. So there's a lot of stand up and sit down, and
Yes.
we had no idea what we were doing
You
at
didn't
all.
go through rehearsal?
We did, but it was very.
It was just like, okay, now you're going to do this, and you're going to do this.
Right.
And
So
like,
the
okay.
day came, and the priest was asking us, do you take this? And so I always assumed it's I do, I will. But then he was asking us like questions where I do and I will would not work.
Right.
And so we were both looking at each other like,
say, yeah.
yeah, we will. We do? Okay. And we have several
It
pictures
is.
where we're just cracking up because we have no idea what's going on. We're
So
like,
when he realizes he doesn't have the rings,
Yes.
because it's time for the rings.
time
We're
for the
blessing the
rings.
rings first,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you standing up there literally like,
We're just laughing.
what? Okay.
Well, I mean,
So
what
were
else are
just
you gonna
like,
do?
Okay, I'm going with it.
What are you gonna do? I mean, it made for a very funny moment.
Was it a very long period of time before the rings came back out? Or does it feel like a lifetime and you're like, wow, this is really happening right now?
Thankfully, it was like we were kneeling down because it's a Catholic ceremony.
Okay,
So
we're
we're
at that
kneeling,
point.
and Kel is. We have a picture of him looking up and laughing, and you can. This is the moment where he's
realizes,
like, "Oh God."
sh-"
Yes. So it was maybe 5 minutes. It wasn't
Okay.
long, but
it's
when
still
you're
like, oh my God, every minute's like an hour.
yes, and a lot of the people who came to our wedding I had never met before because they were
Okay.
Robbie's family, distant family, and so this is the first time I'm meeting them, and I was
Right.
already nervous enough. I was in this big dress with these really tall heels because he is 5'5".
Tall.
He's 6'5".
Yeah,
So
oh my God.
for picture wise,
You're so teeny tiny. How?
I know. I
Oh
had
my
like 7-inch
God.
heels on, and
You can't take a selfie with him.
Well,
you
I-
have to take it.
this is why I've been accustomed to getting really high heels now. I've gotten really good at walking in them. People are like, "How do you walk?" I'm like, "I have
don't
to."
have a choice.
I mean, they're stripper shoes. I have to wear
Yes.
them if I want to get a good photo. Otherwise, we're like this. So I'm walking down this marble walkway by
God.
myself.
Oh my
I walk by
God.
my and
like one step at a time.
Right. And I can see all the guys are wasted. I mean, I'm like,
awesome.
Whatever.
So glad.
Let's just get this over with.
Let's get to the party.
Let's get to the party.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
So were the kids there?
Yes.
How have the kids been? So backing it up, your daughter Lola is my son's age. She's 13, right?
Yep.
My son Nico's 13.
Yep.
So we had that in common when you started
Yep.
working with me. And then my daughter was born immediately after my son. So I had my daughter before you got pregnant with Grayson.
Yes.
Who is now how old?
He will be 8 in 2 months.
Literally, I wrote on one of your things, like, wasn't he just in your uterus? Because that's literally
Well,
what
it's
I
funny
remember.
because you are the very first person that I told that I was
That
pregnant.
you were pregnant.
You knew I was pregnant
Yes,
before I was pregnant.
immediately.
I walked
like, "You're
in and
pregnant."
I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good one day, and you were like, "You're pregnant." And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, it's not. I don't even think it's really that possible." You're like, "You're pregnant. I'm telling you." And I took a pregnancy test at work, and sure, I was pregnant. You were the first one, so thanks for that.
You're welcome.
But yes, so almost 8 and 13 going on 25. Yes.
Is he like that?
Lola's like that. Lola is the.
Well, you have a mini-me, I have a mini-me.
Yes.
They did dance, now they're both acting. Like, the parallels is insane to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you have their sassiness, that's your sassiness coming back at you,
It's
I
tough.
can't do anything. It's so hard to talk to yourself.
It is very
The
hard.
little
And it's-
version of yourself.
But it's also hard to get mad at her because
Can't get mad.
I know exactly why that thought's going
Yep.
through her head and why
100%.
she's talking to me like that and why she's frustrated and because we are the same person. It's just,
Exactly.
there's like a 22-year age gap, but we're the same person.
I think that's the hardest is talking to like the miniature version of myself. And like part of me wants to parent like my parents did, and the other part of me knows like that didn't work.
Can't do it
just
like
didn't
that.
work. I can't say like clean up your room. It's disgusting.
Right. It just
Because then they hear like you're calling me disgusting. And it's like I didn't say you're disgusting. I said the room is disgusting.
Yeah.
And then it's like this whole like unraveling of things, and it's like I already know I gave her trauma.
I know. No, I
And
listen.
like we already have. Let's start the therapy lessons now.
We
The
all
sessions,
have trauma
let's do it.
from one way or another. And I mean, for my kids, it probably is, her dad and I getting divorced at a young age, and then, I'm getting remarried pretty quickly, and so like she's
That's a
got
lot.
that's a lot, and I know that's a lot, and like I understand that, and I take responsibility for that, but also I have a life too, so let's work on all of this together
Right,
and
because
make
it doesn't matter. Even if none of that happened, she would still hate you for something.
She would still.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's
Doesn't
how
ma-
I
it
feel.
doesn't matter.
Pick your poison.
Right.
Which one
Absolutely.
is it going to be?
So I
It
mean,
makes me insane.
But yeah, we work through the therapy and we do everything. I mean, I go to therapy. We all go to therapy. Therapy is the best thing that there is.
So Robby posted something about your daughter calling him uncle. Like, what was that?
So
Like he wished her a happy 13th birthday,
Yes.
and he was happy that at least he called her.
So the way that he's approached being a step parent
Yes.
is she has a dad, and he
Yes.
never wants to replace her dad. I mean, whether he likes him or not, or whether I do or not, that's her dad.
That's how I was with my stepkids.
Yes, and I think that's how you.
Like
that's,
you have a mom.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
your stepmom, and like I'm here for you.
Yes.
But you have a mom.
Right. And so he, when the kids are with us, whether, we come here or they come and stay with us, he is the person that he will go and take them to have fun, and he'll buy them the stuff that mom will say no to. And if they need something, he's there for them. But if they don't want him there, that's okay too, because
so he's totally cool with like he doesn't get hurt.
he does no. You if you want to call me dad, that's fine, but you please
don't
don't
have
feel like
to.
you have
That's
to.
what I said.
If you want to talk to me, that's great, but you don't have to. I'm not going to discipline you like I'm your dad. Even when you're in our home, it's your mom and my home decision. So if we have rules, we have house rules, and that's for everybody who walks in through our door.
Correct.
That's not just for the kids. And I appreciate that because I am their mom, and they do have a dad, and he's a good dad, whether I like him or not. He's a good dad, and he doesn't want to. He's never ever gonna ever try to take that place ever.
I love that.
And that's so it's
love that
he
so
likes
much.
he likes to approach it as I want to be the fun uncle. I'm your relative, and I love you, and I'll be there for you. But if you don't want me there, that's fine too.
So when you left the station that we were both working for, you went to a completely a competitor.
I went to a competitor.
Did you know you were going to leave?
No,
For like what was the
No.
you were because you had the baby, you had Grayson.
I had Gracie. I
You
had
were
no.
still with us for
I
a hot
had
minute.
no intentions of leaving. I was on
Okay.
maternity leave.
That's right.
I was on maternity leave.
Okay.
And I got a phone call that said, this is a job opening that I think you'd be really, really great at, and I think that you should apply. And I was just, I loved where I was. I didn't really want to leave, but.
Yeah, but if there's nothing else for you.
Right, I was
and you want to eventually be on the air or at least have some role in radio. Like, what else,
Right.
I get it.
And that was the thing. I kind of reached my peak where I was, and this was a huge opportunity. And so I took the interview, and it was a huge interview process.
Oh my God.
It was ridiculous. And I actually got hired to do a job that I had never done before, which is crazy, but I happen to have a lot of the skill sets for it. I was the promotions director.
Oh, you can do that with your eyes
But
closed.
it's funny, the only promotions I worked were with you when we,
Yes,
but those
like
are big events. Like
there were very minimal people that I knew that if it was like, if I'm sick or I cannot come in or I'm going on vacation, it was like you and 2 other people.
Yeah.
That was it. Because I was like, I know that she can think like me, and you also have an analytic brain, which whatever it is that we're giving you, you will sit there and be like, okay, these are the things that we need to do. Instead of like, no one told me what to do. It's like, oh my God.
Right. Just
Use
step
your
up.
brain.
Just do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like, what needs to happen?
Right.
And that's literally how your brain works.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I'm sure you kicked that job's ass.
I loved it. I loved the job. I really did. I honestly didn't want to leave, but it was just, there was a lot of things surrounding the situation. And once I started there, I only started as the promotions director. I did not have an on-air presence at all, but Robby was doing the afternoon show, and the person who had my position before I was there was kind of his sidekick on his afternoon show.
Okay.
So it was the Robby Bridges show, and then sometimes he would have a sidekick come in just to have someone else to talk to, because as you know, it's hard to be in a room.
When you're in a dark room by yourself for hours.
Right, and to do
it's like, oh my God, somebody please give me life.
And any time you're trying to do a personality, to do it by yourself, and there are people who are really good at it, and I give them so much credit. It's just hard to do if you're not just talking about celebrity news, or if you have a story you want to tell, it's hard to do it by yourself. So I just kind of came in as his sidekick at first. And then because...
Like just seeing him in the hallway? Was he just like,
well, he was
Rochelle?
my boss. He was my boss.
So he knew your personality.
He was the program director of both the stations that I was doing promotions for. So we were working together all the time, as it was on, whatever we were doing for sales, or whether it was for the station or not. We were working with each other all the time. So he asked me to come in and do his sidekick thing, and that's kind of how it started. But because he's this crotchety, quote-unquote old man, sales had a hard time selling him. And because he was also the program director, he never wanted to do station events. He was just too busy, and I get that. Well, once sales realized I was a mom, I was a woman, I had a lot of aspects that they could sell.
100%.
It became the Robby and Rochelle show because sales wanted me because they wanted to sell me. So that's kind of how it was born. It was kind of on accident. I was always in there anyway, but it was never intended to be the Robby and Rochelle show. It was the Robby Bridges show with producer Rochelle. That's how it started. And I would do, I still do show prep, and I still do.
Well, you have to. It's your own thing. Yeah. And like when you're so used to doing that, because we trained you how to do all that, right? Like how are you going to give that up to somebody else and trust? You're never going to trust.
No,
you're going to be
never.
like, thank you so much for the prep, as I'm Googling 10 other things.
I know.
Because it's like, oh my God, you did a great job. Oh, fuck.
And we all just have our own style, too. I know. We just have our own style, too. And so it's just like our style of what, I know the stories that we're going to talk about. I don't need 25 pages of all this crap we're not going to talk about.
By the way, I mean, this is not going to air anywhere near this time frame, but is he pissed that you're not there right now for Oscars recaps?
No, because...
Is he not on right now?
No, he is, but we have a guy who is on he does our weekend show. His name is Ralphie Aversa, and he does the red carpet for USA Today.
Shut the
So
up.
he's on.
He
so
can just go to him.
So he's in Hollywood still.
Okay.
And so we do, every time there's an award show, he was there for the Super Bowl. He was there for everything.
Brilliant.
We just would go to Ralphie and he would recap. You don't need us. He was there.
Right. It's the best.
So it's
even though
wonderful.
People want to know what Rochelle thinks about what happened, right? Which I'm sure you're going to be on to tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow.
So you'll be able to do all that recap stuff anyway. Because people are going to talk about it all week, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I mean, we do celebrity news, but we don't harp on it a ton. We try not to, because again, you can kind of get that stuff everywhere.
You're hearing it everywhere, and it's in your feed.
Right. And so I know you want to know what I thought about, Margot Robbie's black dress, because she was wearing a black dress and wasn't nominated. Did it mean something?
Yeah.
You can also read about that too. So, or I can.
Yeah, but you're a personality. People like you guys for you.
They
being
do.
You.
They do. But
So it's two totally
we also have
different
Ralphie there who talked to her, and he can tell us what
Oh
that
my
was
God, I
actually
love
about.
that.
So it's really fun.
Is Ross Britton on the show too sometimes?
He's there right now. He's taking my spot right now.
Okay.
He's there every day.
For people who don't know, I don't think you know because you didn't grow up in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I was born in 1975, and the Z Morning Zoo, Z100, with Scott Shannon and Ross Britton was the biggest morning show.
Hello, my name is Scott Shannon.
And I'm Ross Britton.
We are radio announcers every morning on the Z100 Morning Zoo.
It literally, I don't think anybody knew who Z100 was, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah. There's a movie about it. If you
f***ing
don't know
whole
what it
world.
is, there's a movie about it. So
what's the movie?
Scott Shannon made a movie.
He did?
He did, and he does interviews with all kinds of people.
I have to look it up.
You know, because Z100 broke Madonna. They broke. I mean, tons of people in and out. Elton John was in and out of there. There was. I mean, it was just
crazy.
crazy.
And like I went to college in New York, and my now ex-husband worked for Sony Music. So one of the things to break music, you literally would run a tape from a production studio to
The radio
Z100 to the radio station.
Yep.
And be like, here is the single. That is how music would break.
Yep.
Which is so insane to me now that like you just put it on a SoundCloud and
I
then there it
know.
is. But like it was a person literally taking a
Yep.
car service or a taxi or running as fast as they could
Yeah.
to Hot 97, Z100, 95.5, like PLJ. Like that is how music broke. And it's so crazy to me that like you are working. Like I know like people probably don't know who Ross is, but I know who he
Yeah.
is. That voice and like Scott Shannon's voice is it's crazy.
I feel like you'd be so proud of me too, because I also write prep for Scott Shannon every single day for his
You
True Oldies
do?
station. Robbie and I both do.
Oh my God, shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And
So-
he's still doing that at least? Because I know he
Oh, yes.
retired from like main
He'll never
radio.
retire.
No,
he's a radio guy. He's never going to retire. He
my
says he's
God.
retired, and he golfs all the time. But he still does the True Oldies show, and he's still, you know, he was just on a morning news something or another, and yes.
I might have to record a video for Ross later.
Oh, he
Or we
Ross.
have to call him. When are they off
I
the air?
mean, I have his phone number if you'd like to call him.
When are they off the air? I'm not
he's-
fucking kidding. Put your phone behind you too, so that's clean.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like when I read
sweetest
that, I
guy
was
ever.
like, holy like that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Yes, because
He's
he's
a
just
legend.
normal
He's
dude.
a legend.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
a legend. You know what's so funny about Ross Britton is he doesn't consider himself a legend. He's almost.
How can he not?
I-
though?
I know,
He,
that's
like,
what-
they created morning radio.
I know, but if you ask him, he'll
He'll
just
no,
say
I was just Scott Shannon's sidekick.
one of the most
no, you were
humble
not.
people I've ever
Oh
met
God,
in my
it's
life.
Crazy.
Sweetest guy ever. He drove me to the airport a few weeks ago in his little Porsche.
I fucking love him.
One of the sweetest guys ever.
Oh my God, yes,
Yeah.
we have to call him later.
Yeah.
The other person I think, does Brad Blank still do stuff for you?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so Brad Blanks and I met because when you're working in radio, you get sent, and I don't even know how much they do this anymore, but you get sent out to red carpet events. Like
Yeah.
it was American Idol. I remember doing stuff for like Nickelodeon, every award show. So
Right.
and Brad goes out constantly and gets crazy footage because he's insane. He's like this 10 foot. He looks 10 feet.
He's an Australian. He's
Yeah.
the 10-foot crazy
Yes.
Australian. The funniest thing about Brad Blanks, if you don't know who he is or you never heard of him, he got his job working with Scott Shannon by just walking into the station as a tourist saying, hey, I am going to go to this show. Do you want the interview? And Scott was like, sure. Brad Blanks doesn't work for anybody.
No, he does not.
He
He
works for
himself.
himself. He has no credentials, really.
Nope.
He just walks into he's interviewed. Tom Cruise knows who he is.
Brad Blank's here in New York City. I've got Adam Sandler just there, Jennifer Aniston.
You're late.
Crouching.
I'm such a big guy and I get in the way of the...
Oh,
What are you
stand up.
getting in the way of? Oh, the camera. Oh, I see. They're
Oh my God! That's awful! That's not right! Keep going! Put your hat on and get out of here!
He is the epitome of just ask because you never know.
Right.
But it comes with an Australian accent
Yep.
and this adorable energy
Yes.
that like you can't tell him no. You're
Right.
really like, okay, like I
He
totally get it. He every door that opens for him is because it's just that beautiful energy that
Yeah.
comes with it. He doesn't have he's not malicious. He's
No,
not trying
no.
to trick you, right?
No.
He does say stupid because he's funny.
He's hilarious. And he doesn't even mean to be.
doesn't
And that's
know.
why it's so funny
I
because
know.
he just says
You're
things.
like,
and
Brad.
I
He's
don't
like,
know.
I know. I got nervous.
I
know. Oh my God, why would you say that? I didn't know what else to say.
I
It's
know.
like, and again, and imagine with an Australian accent. He's funny.
Hilarious.
Oh
Love
my
Brad.
God, I love
yes.
that you guys are doing stuff with him too.
Yeah.
Was he at the Oscars right now too? I wonder.
I don't
He
know. I don't
probably
know
might.
that he was there.
He flies himself out. He gets his own passes. He gets on every
He went to
red
the
carpet.
Olympics. He,
Yeah.
you know, my son is obsessed with soccer, and the World Cup is coming to Jersey in 26.
Shut
So
up.
I said, Brad, I know you're going to be in there. You got to take Grayson with you because I know you're going to get in there. I don't know how, but you're going to get
Oh, he
in.
will.
And he's like, oh, okay, we'll walk on it. We'll walk on it.
Oh my God, that is not an Australian accent.
No,
That is a New Jersey- that is
not
like
good
a
with
New
the
York
accents.
accent. That's so funny.
That's my best Brett Blanks. That's all I got.
Explain to me falling in love with your co-host because he is your boss.
Uh-huh.
Did they have like a no dating like policy, or does radio really? Radio can't have that. Honestly, so many people get married in radio.
Yeah, I mean, they do. I honestly don't know if the company that we worked for had a specific policy, unless you were getting married. I think if you were getting
Most
married,
of
just
them are like,
yeah,
They're like, we're all gonna sign the contract.
right. It was weird, and it happened over a long period of time. Like it wasn't an immediate thing.
Who liked who first?
I liked him first.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked him first. And it wasn't even that I had like a romantic though. I just liked him as a person. Like he was my friend, and he was always like, he would give me, there would be instances where my ex and I, because we were still together, sort of, when we...
Well, going through the mental separation, it always happens first.
Right. And it happened over a long period of time. And it wasn't, a lot of people think that this just happened because I wasn't public about it.
Right.
But that's not who I am.
No.
I'm not a public person, but there had been separation after separation over the course of many years. I mean,
Right.
even when Lola was first born, he was in a different room. We didn't sleep
Right.
together for a long time. So, it was a slow progression, though, where I was separated and I was actually asking him for advice. It was things that we would talk about on air. Like, this is, I'm having an issue. This is what happened. What do we do? And he was still dating at the time. And so we would talk about his dates and his relationship. And as things progressed between him and I, it got to be harder and harder because we would still be talking about
You dating other people.
Right.
And then it's like, but I want to date you.
Right. And so it was kind of like this weird overlap where...
Did he know how you felt, or did
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't like forward about it, but I was also not, being timid either. Like
Right.
I
well,
would,
you weren't young either. Like, not that you were
No.
old, but you had like, I've been here,
I've
done
done
this.
this.
Like,
I've done
I
this.
know
Yeah.
how this works.
and we also
Like, I'm going to get what I want or I'm not going to. Like, let's make that decision now so we know what to do going forward.
Right.
Because it's like, okay,
right.
fine.
And
Like,
our whole relationship, friendship and romantic, we were both very honest with each other. And he was very honest with me. Like, this is where I'm at in my life, and I don't know if I want to be in a relationship with someone with kids. I don't know that I want
lot.
to. I don't. Right. It's a lot to ask of somebody. You're in the middle of a divorce. This is a lot to ask of a person. So it was a slow progression, but once we both realized this is what we want, it all kind of happened quickly. And there was this point where he pulled me aside and said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this because we work together and we've got too much to lose if this is not going to work out. So this either has to be we're all in, or we need to, stop flirting with each other and stop this because
it's painful.
It's painful, right? It was painful on probably more so for me than him, but it was painful
Well,
nevertheless.
if he's talking about other women and then you're talking about other men, plus, by the way, even now, I don't understand how, well, he gets the business though. You're meeting hot musicians constantly. I mean, some of the people in your feed, I'm like, beautiful men.
Yeah.
So I would hope he understands the business, but at the same time, if these beautiful men are single and also understand that you're not dating anybody,
Yeah.
that is a weird energy too for him to have to watch happen
it
over and
was-
over again. When you're
yeah.
going backstage, when you're meeting people, when you're introducing people, when you're doing interviews, and it's
But
like
it goes
literally
both
like
ways.
you and a dude have
Yeah.
have a a connection, and Robbie's just sitting there like, what the f is happening? Like, that can't be easy.
It goes both ways, though, because there's beautiful women, too. And so I think that plays more now that we're married.
Right.
Now it's more of an issue than it was then because we weren't.
Even though he knows the business, he understands the business.
No, it's not really a problem for him or me. I'm definitely the jealous. I'm the jealous one. He's not. He's not, because I think he comes from the mindset that if we didn't want to be together, we won't be together. So like if I'm gonna,
there has to be some sort of trust.
Right. So
I'm
if
not,
right. If you don't want to be with me and you think he's hot and you want to go and sleep with him, then we probably shouldn't be together. And he's the same way. If I wanted to be with this person, I would, but I would tell you.
Correct.
And
that's how my husband and I are too.
Right.
It's
so
like, just literally have that conversation with me. I'm too old for this.
I know.
I'm not playing games with you now.
I know, but I am the jealous type. I really am. And
Does he like that though?
No.
Because then he thinks he doesn't. He doesn't think it's cute sometimes.
No, because I'm like crazy jealous. I'm not like,
Rochelle.
yeah, I'm an ass jealous.
Hold
I'm
it
not.
back.
I mean, I try, but you feel how you feel. And I think it's hard for me because we did have this long span where we were friends.
Right.
And I knew everything that was going on. And some of these people early on in our relationship, he still had contact with and still had friendships with. And I'm like, no. I'm not okay with that. Like this needs to. So, there's obviously a line. Like if he's sitting down with Dua Lipa, like, of course, she's beautiful, and you're having a conversation with her. Does he think she's hot? Probably. But is he going to leave me for Dua Lipa? No. But do I want you to come home and tell me how hot you thought she was? No, I don't want to hear that either.
Oh my God, see, I love that. I don't mind that.
No, I don't. I know you do.
See,
You're
I
weird
totally
like
love
that.
that.
I know. That's so weird to me. You're like, I love when people flirt with him.
I do, because I so trust him that I know he's coming home to me. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, but I still think it's weird. I mean, you do you, but. Right, he was forever single. I told you he's never been married, and he wasn't like,
oh, there's girls in my DMs. Who cares?
Right, and he didn't. It wasn't an issue because he was like, well, I'm with you, and so what does that matter? But he didn't understand that dynamic of like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't be liking other people's Instagram photos or like, especially when it's like a constant like of a certain person. You know what I mean? Like that gives you.
It gives them like this weird impression. By the way,
right? And it gives me as a woman just a complex. I'm already self-conscious as it is. Like I'm, you can't do that to me. So
I love you. Oh my God.
But I am honest
you're
about
self-conscious. You're the hottest wife ever.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Does he know like he has a hot wife?
So
like
sweet.
he does know. Right.
He's very, I mean, he's always very, he always tells me, and he likes when people
say like, Robby, you have a hot wife.
Yeah, he does. He likes it. I don't know that he likes if they're like, straight on flirting with me, but he likes to quote unquote show me off. He likes if I send him a cleavage photo, he'll post it. I love that. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad that you like that, but I am a self-conscious person. I'm somebody who used to weigh 300 pounds. Like I got a lot of issues, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot going on there.
So that was the other thing we have in common is like the weight fluctuation, which you've been amazing. You've kept yours off.
No, I haven't. No. I yo-yo. I'm a yo-yo.
You're nowhere near 300 pounds.
No,
I haven't gotten back up there either, but like I yo-yo like crazy too. Yeah, and it's just like, again, I will forever see myself as that person. It's just the weirdest thing. So like I have, what is it, dysmorphia? Like body dysmorphia?
Yeah, body dysmorphia.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I will never see a picture I will never see it the same way you see it. Like James is taking all this right now and I'm like, you're going to transfer it to my phone. And I'm going to fix all of it.
There's this beautiful app called Reveal, and you do have to pay for it.
Okay.
So just a plug
I have
for
Face app, but what's Reveal?
Face app is fine, but Reveal is you can actually record a video and it's already edited. You can like make your face contoured already and it just records it like that automatically. You don't have to do anything with it. It's great.
I know. It's hard for these. It's the only thing.
I know.
They're so long, you can't put them in those apps.
Right.
People are going to have to know what I really look like. It fucking sucks. Why did I decide to do video too?
Which is why it's so funny because I came here originally, Rachel, I was wearing leggings and flip-flops and a hat, and I go...
Literally had leggings and my flip-flops on.
Well, you said...
I put shoes on for you.
You said, let's do a podcast. Yeah. So to me, podcast is a radio person. There's no camera. But then I remembered... Nope, that's not what she's doing.
Nope.
This is a video podcast.
Video now. God forbid we're not on YouTube.
I know.
It is the anchor of all things. So my biggest thing with being a female co-host is how are you not a giggle box? You're working with somebody who's been doing radio since he was 10. Yeah. Right? Is like a radio veteran now at this point who can steamroll you like nobody else. Yeah. How are you not just like, ha, 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 ha? And everybody who's ever listened to radio knows exactly what I'm talking about because that is why women were brought into a radio situation. Right. It was to laugh at the man's jokes. Right. How do you not allow him to steamroll over what you're doing?
It's hard, and sometimes I do. Sometimes it just happens.
You just have to, because you have to get out of it. We have a limited time. We have to get to commercials, or we have to play a song.
Right.
So I understand that, where you have to be like, okay,
right. And
this isn't important enough for me to be like, nope, we're going to stay on 2 minutes longer and get in trouble with management later.
Right. Well, luckily he is management, so I have that going. I have that going for me, so we can go on as long as we want.
Oh, God, yes. You're like, yep.
Yep. The issue with him and I is, and I think this goes for anyone who works with a co-host, is everybody has a different way that they go about their show. So he's got his ways and I have my ways. I am very much, I like to prepare. I like to have notes. I like to know what we're talking about. I still use my whiteboard like you used to use. You taught me. You know, I like to write everything down.
We just need some sort of flow.
Yes.
Just so we're all somewhat prepared.
Yes.
The flow is B. Whatever happens is A.
Right.
I'm fine to go with the flow if it's A. But like if we're not in that space where it's just like, oh,
yes,
we're all just gonna do B today.
Yeah. Well, Robby is not that. He does not prepare.
Are you kidding?
He does not
Shut the up.
He does not tell me what we're going to talk about
You're
before we talk.
lying.
No. Have no idea what's going on. Nothing is prepared. Not a single thing.
He's that good. He does it on the fly.
On the fly. So I hand him.
He's really good.
I swear to God, in the morning, I hand him a stack of papers that I've prepared the day before and sometimes the morning of. And I'll send him things periodically, a survey or something. He does not prepare a thing, nothing. He goes through the sheet and he will just start talking off the fly. And it's incredible, but it is also hard for me as somebody who likes to prepare.
You don't know where he's going either.
Right.
Like,
so I have to
trying to get out with this conversation.
I have to try to come up with something to respond, not knowing what he's coming at me. And we have topics like I have a note section in my phone, and I'll say, this could be a topic. I don't know if he's going to that though. I don't know if we're doing that today. I don't know where he's taking it. I don't know. I don't know anything. So it's really hard because he's totally unprepared, and I like to be very prepared.
Correct, because you can be prepared and still sound unprepared, which is good.
Right.
Because it's like, oh yeah, we're just having this conversation. We did not talk about this an hour before.
Right. But I know if I know where it's going, it's easier for me to help him get there.
I just need to know where we're going so I can get you there and not.
Right.
Because any conversation can be spawned into 10 different directions. So I don't want to get in trouble after, right? When it's like, that's not where I was going with this. So it's like, you didn't tell me where you were going.
Yes. So
how do you handle it? Do you just do you sit back and let it play out a little bit, or will he do this to you to like make sure you don't?
Sometimes we'll do this. Like if I'm trying to figure out where he's going and I'm being that co-host and I'm talking, he'll wrap me up so he can get to the end because he's really good at finding the out.
He knows in his gut. Yeah.
He knows where he's going, but because I don't, I sometimes do become that laugh box because I don't know what to say because I don't know if that's where he wants it to go. Especially if it's a family dynamic, I don't know if it's his family more than mine. When it comes to the kids and stuff, we kind of know our limits. We know, With his family, I don't know sometimes if he wants to take it there, and so I'll just laugh and hope that he
dude holds this face.
Yeah.
It's like your eyes are big, and you're like, do you see how I'm looking at you right now? Like, you have to tell me what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes,
like,
and it happens. Or sometimes
it's hard. It's live. Like, you can't.
Live.
And you're not going to be like,
it's
hey,
live.
go to a song so we can have a 30-second conversation.
And we generally don't do topics where we will talk about something, go to a commercial, and then come back to the topic. We wrap it up.
You're done.
We try to.
That would frustrate me if it's such a good
hard.
topic, though.
It's hard. It's sometimes we will,
but it has
very
to be really
rarely.
good to elongate it.
And we're really lucky that we work for a family-owned company. It's not one of the big ones, so we have a little bit more leniency to. It doesn't have to be a 2-minute topic. You don't have to. We need to hit like our news on certain times, and that's really the only place where in the morning. We can just go. So we've done 19-minute conversations before, and then just gone into a quick stop set after that. And it just is.
Make up for it.
We'll make up for it.
I like that. That's nice.
It is. It's nice. I think if we were working for one of the big companies, that would be something we'd have to.
Clock, man.
And we have done
that. Trouble every time.
I know, and we have done that,
sorry.
but we haven't done it in so long now. Yeah. So it's hard. I will just say every morning it's hard, especially because I'm not a morning person. I'm just not. I don't like the
How
mornings.
does waking up in the morning together work? Do you sleep together? I would not be able to
We
sleep
do.
in the same room, I feel like.
We do. There are some nights where if I'm going to go do something, or when the kids are with us, if I'm in, you know, if I'm like, well, I want to put them to bed, and
Yeah.
I'll just sleep on the couch, or you know what.
That's what my husband sleeps on the couch every night. Because I'm like, I'm either editing or I'm doing something or I'm
Right.
prepping for something, and it's just like I can't have your energy like here staring at me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, we do sleep
right,
together,
right,
but we
okay.
also get up at the same time.
Right,
So
so
we
you
have to
have
have two
to.
bathrooms. Like
who's
no,
the first one that gets up?
me. I
Okay.
get up about 25 minutes earlier than he does. Not too much, but
Okay.
I sometimes this is totally TMI, but I will sit on the toilet and I just fall asleep because I'm like
Exhausted.
I'm not a
Your
morning
body
person.
never it never ever ever gets used to that 3 a.m.
Never.
Never ever.
Never ever. So I mean, I think waking up with him is easier because it was hard when I didn't have someone to wake up
Right,
with.
because you're like, I'm just have to make it there. And
I have to-
hope
right, I
I
have to
don't
ha-
like reset my alarm and forget that I
Right. So we at least have like that accountability that
Right.
we're gonna get up. We've never, knock on wood, never missed a show, never been late, never had
That's
that
so
issue.
good. Oh my god.
But it is, you know,
Right.
it makes it hard when he says he's not a morning person. He doesn't like getting up. That's it. He doesn't like getting
Right,
up, but
but, like,
he
once
is
he's up,
he's
he's
a morning
fine.
person. Sometimes we're in the car and I'm like trying to wake up, and he's like,
Shut up. Right. I haven't.
I love you, but shut up.
Oh my god, I love you so much.
Yeah.
You've done morning, you've done afternoons. Which do you like better? Which shift?
As much as I hate mornings, I still love mornings
Fucking
better.
love it. Exactly. I
I
would
know.
say the same thing.
I just
The
like having my
energy,
day, and like
yes.
that's
you have
just
the
a
rest
different.
of your day. You're just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whereas the afternoon, like I don't even know how I would get that energy to even get there. It
It's-
would take a lot for me to even have to be able to do an afternoon show.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different beast, though. Like
Yes.
doing mornings is a different beast than afternoons. It's a different audience too. So like having to learn like your audiences can be a challenge too, because morning talk is different than afternoon, and it's just you're talking about different things. And did they already talk about this throughout the day? Because you're the third shift
Right,
now.
exactly.
So I mean, it is a different beast. But I do like doing mornings. I like being the person that told you everything that happened
Love it. Exactly.
the day before. I like that as much as I hate getting up. I still prefer that. He prefers afternoons
Why?
because he's a jock through and through. He likes to talk up.
So
he
wants
doesn't,
to like take you home through your afternoon drive.
Yeah, he
and,
likes
like,
it.
Let's
And-
relax you before you get home.
and he wants to get up at 10 a.m. and he wants to have his
Just,
bowl of
like,
cereal.
shoot
And
the shit, do
I
the
just
thing.
I
Yeah,
want to be
no.
done. Like
Me
I want to be
too.
done and have my day.
That's how I am. Like get over with.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I love you so much.
Yes, so I love the mornings.
I'm
for
from
that
New
reason.
Jersey.
Yes.
How is living in New Jersey? Wait, where are you guys living now?
We live in Old Bridge.
Okay.
So I'm not sure
so
if you-
because you're by the shore.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
our station is by the shore. So our
Right.
station's near Asbury Park. So that's
Okay.
like Bruce Springsteen land.
Yes, it
Everybody,
is.
everybody is a Bruce fan. They're like, he might show up everywhere we go. He might show up. I'm like, he's not showing up.
Does he even live in New Jersey
He
anymore?
does. He does. And he
Okay.
does. He does show up in some places. But
Yeah,
it's just
but he's like leaving.
everywhere you go down the shore, they're like, Bruce might show up. I'm like, he might. So might the Pope.
Right.
But like,
a lot of things might happen in this scenario, but like, okay, let's just do the thing.
yeah, so we live closer to the city
Okay.
because his family's in Rhode Island, which is one of the reasons we took the job on the East Coast. Is he is an East Coast baby, but his parents are getting up there,
Right.
and so we like to be closer because if something, God forbid, happens, they need, you know what I mean? They need him there, and we both like the city life, and I travel every weekend, every other weekend,
Right.
so I need to be by the airport. So we live closer to the city than the shore.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of right in between, really. New Jersey is nice. I mean, it's different. It's different. I don't want to like dog on New Jersey because I like New Jersey, but
I
like
totally get it.
I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in
Yes,
Detroit. Like
very different.
where you grew
You're
up is where.
Midwestern.
Yeah.
And New Jersey, like when I talk to somebody else from New Jersey, we talk really fast. My husband doesn't understand how we can understand each other.
Yeah.
He's like, how are you all talking this fast? And I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't fast. I'm like, the
It's-
way you talk here is slow.
Yeah,
And he's like,
everything
no,
here is
this
a lot slower.
Normal. And
Yeah.
it's like in New Jersey, like when my parents moved to Atlanta from New Jersey and somebody offered to help my mother to the car with groceries, she was like, are you kidding me? Don't touch my Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm from New Jersey. Like, no, like
Yeah.
we don't do that.
Other than my gas
Like,
pump, you don't touch my stuff.
Oh
in
my
New
God,
Jersey.
isn't that the best?
It's the best. It's
In
the
New
be-
Jersey, they have
Yes.
someone pump your gas.
Yes.
So when I moved, I was like,
What do I do?
and no one's coming? Like, what do you mean? No one's going to pump the gas? No, I have to do this myself.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Absolutely
they
my
pump your
favorite
gas in
part.
Jersey. It's the greatest thing ever, especially when it's cold outside. You're
or
like,
raining,
thank you.
or dark, or
Yeah.
anything.
Hell yeah.
The Wawa and the Pump Your Gas are my favorite parts of New Jersey. The roads are horrendous.
Oh.
They're
roads
they're bad
everywhere.
here, but there you have to pay a toll road, and they're still
Right,
horrendous.
They're still shitty. Right.
And you have to go a mile out of your way to make a U-turn, which makes me crazy because I'm just used to a Michigan left.
Michigan
Like, you
left.
turn left everywhere, anywhere you need to turn left, you turn left.
Yes.
In New Jersey, and the whole East Coast, really, anywhere you need to
Yes.
turn left, it's a mile
you
and a
have
half
to
out of your
go,
way.
yep.
And if you're on the turnpike and you missed your frickin' exit, you got to go 20 minutes out of your way to get back to it. But I love the ocean. I love the boardwalk.
The shore.
The shore. I love the shore.
Go down the shore.
I love going out to dinner and hearing the Jersey women.
The
like,
fucking best.
I mean,
They will give you everything you need for content.
Everything.
You could just go out for dinner every night and just be quiet. Just sit there and listen.
I love going to a restaurant and not knowing if I'm sitting next to somebody who may be mobbed up.
Oh my God.
Watching what you say.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it.
I
but
learned that from my grandmother because
I
I was
know.
like, well, Daddy told me that because my great-grandfather owned a barbershop in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, my dad told me every Sunday he would go get his hair cut. Nobody would be in there.
Yeah.
And his grandpa would go in the back a lot. And she'd be like, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk
and
about
I
the
was
back
like,
room.
we don't talk about the back room?
Yeah.
She's like, no, we don't talk about the back room. I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I know.
I was like, oh, so he was a bookie and running numbers. Great. Good
Got
to know.
it.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
No, but growing up here, and Rachel, I'm not kidding you, I thought that the mafia was something from the movies. I truly did not know.
You didn't realize The Sopranos was real?
No. I had no idea that was actually, because like being from Detroit, when you think of like a gang of people, there's a certain dynamic that you think of. So when you go to, he's from Rhode Island. You go from Rhode Island, you go to Boston, you go to Jersey, you go to New York, and there's a gang of people. It's a mob. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Our
like
friends. Our family.
What do you
family.
mean? What do you mean they're paying with a cashier's check? What does that mean? I don't understand. Like, I had no idea how real it was. Like, it is.
It's that, and then what exit are you off the turnpike was like the most important thing.
Yeah,
Or
exit
the Parkway.
82.
Like, I think it was like 180 something. I don't remember. And it's horrible. I'm a terrible New Jerseyan.
No, that is though.
But,
these are things I had to learn when I went because, we don't talk like that. I don't say things like that. I say pop. There is no pop there. You don't ask for pop. You ask for soda. So now I say soda all the time.
Right.
But it's there was a learning curve.
I still won't say pop here.
I don't say it.
What is that? Soda. Like, who
My
says
kids say
pop?
soda too, so which is
Right.
great.
It's
They
like,
probably
it's
sound.
catching on. Thank God.
I know. But it was like, what exit are you off of? I'm like, oh.
You're like, what are you talking about? Like,
I'm
what
off of-
exit off the Parkway? And we know where you live. Oh my
Right.
God, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love you. So are you guys going to stay there or it's radio? We never know. Like, what's the goal?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We're in radio. So
We're in
all of the above.
Yes. That fun TikTok. We're in radio, so you never know. We like it, but you never know. It's
Right.
It's a morning show, and I try to explain this to the kids because sometimes, it's hard to explain why mom is not here Monday through Friday, and this is, it's a tough conversation, but I tell Lola, who's 13, who gets it a little bit more. I say, think of, the hospital. The amount of people that work in that one hospital is the amount of people that work in this entire industry, especially in mornings. So mom has to go where the jobs are. And like, that is a really tough thing to explain to a kid. It is really hard for her to understand that I want to be your mom and I am your mom, but I also want to have a career and this is my chosen career. And, if dad is a teacher, if they shut down his school, he would have to go somewhere else. That's what he would have to do if he wants to continue to be a teacher and not work at Target. This is what I have to do to stay
Well, also, like,
where I'm at.
keeping it with like doctors and nurses, my sister's a nurse. And so she took a job where she has to live there for
Right.
4 days of the week.
Right.
So it's like she's not home, and it's the same exact thing. So it's
same thing.
not. It happens to a lot of people, and
Right.
it's like hard to explain to your kids. Like, if we were in the military, you would not see me for a year.
Right.
Like, this is the job I chose.
Right. And it's hard though because people who aren't in the industry and have never worked in this industry don't understand. And I get it. I know it seems crazy that I travel as much as I do,
You
but
must have so many frequent flyer miles.
I do. I'm actually better with Avis. Like, my car rentals is more than
Oh
my
my
miles for some reason.
God.
But yeah, between the Airbnbs and the cars and it's an adventure. It's hard. It's expensive, but it's what I love to do, and it's what I've chosen to do. And it just is. It is what it is. So we are happy where we're at. You know, like everything, if something came along that was bigger and paid more money, we couldn't say no. How do you say no? You know, if New York comes knocking on your door, you don't say no. If you just don't, you don't. But we like where we're at, and the company is great, and they actually invest in radio, which a lot of companies don't do anymore.
I know, for you to get billboards on buses. Are you kidding me?
Right. I mean, they invest in promotion.
Huge.
We have a promotional budget. We have a full staff. We have a news person.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's unheard of in a lot of places and a lot of companies now. So,
because it's AI now.
Yeah, right.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. We are live and local every shift.
Which
we have
is amazing.
No voice tracking. No nothing. Nothing. I shouldn't
Who
say
owns
that.
you guys though? Shout them out, literally, because like that's amazing.
It's Press Communications is what they're called.
For them to understand that a person really cannot be replicated and replaced by an AI.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
There's no, I shouldn't say there's no voice tracking because people voice track over, but there's no out of market anybody. There's nobody in Atlanta, Georgia doing our overnight show.
That's so amazing.
It's you know, it's Jack who's doing it, who's from Philadelphia and has the thickest Philadelphia accent you've ever heard in your life. I mean, it's so, I mean, it's just, it's local, and people love the station because of that. Like it's a great station because it sounds like that. It doesn't sound, you know, insert voice in station here, and then here's the content.
It's fascinating that they did that though and had the foresight to do that when everybody was going to just do voiceovers for 20 stations, and it's, you know, a kid sitting in a closet trying to figure out what the hell they're going to talk about over and over and over again.
Yep.
And it's like, but there's ample to talk about because they're here.
They're here.
Like our people live here.
Right.
This is like, they are the community,
Yep.
and that is 100% what radio is.
Yep.
It shocks me that it moved away from that.
It's terrible. It's really sad that that's where it's gone in a lot of markets. And that's why we have a hard time thinking, you know, even if something bigger did come in a bigger company with more money, it would be so restrictive. And right now we are so untamed that it would be really difficult. But, you know, if it pays our bills along, you got to do what you got to do. So it's, you know, but yeah, our company is really, really great.
Have you guys thought of doing like an after show or like a vlog on YouTube and stuff? Like
we have a podcast, but it's really just a recap of our show. Okay. So we actually just this past week talked about doing a real podcast, we had an agent for a little bit, and our agent really wanted us to do a podcast. And because Robby is so old school radio and so in his roots, he was like, I don't want to do a podcast. I want to do radio. I'm not a podcaster. But, you know, over the past 3-4 years, just seeing how this industry has grown, you know, I'm like, it's not that we're giving this up. It's just in addition to.
You're your own brand.
Right.
Which would be amazing.
Right. And because we'll
talk about that in a minute. I'll pitch you on it.
Okay. There are some things though that happen, you know, especially behind the scenes that we don't talk about on air. And being a married couple, you know, just having that dynamic. We've done a couple videos for sponsorships and different things in our home, and we get huge response from them because it's like, this is what our life is. We live in a little 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, I think people think we're kidding. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment on the second floor, and we have the pool that's never open, and the kids are riding the hoverboard and bothering her. Like, this is what our life is. And I think people think that some of that is just for comedic effect. Like, no. It is not. This is what it is. So, you know, he's becoming more open to that idea. So we kind of put a poll out there and said, if we decided to do a podcast, you know, do more work, do extra work, would you listen? And we've got a really good response. It is hard for him, though, because he also is in the managerial world. So his workday does not end at 11 o'clock. It ends at 5 o'clock. And so to add more to that, on top of the other jobs that we have to have because we work in radio.
Unless you do like a vlog format where you're literally just recording life.
Right.
Which is plausible.
It is.
That you put on your YouTube as your own brand. The company doesn't own it. You are the company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And like you are great at self-taping. You're great at knowing what is content. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you have control over the edits too.
Right.
So in the end, it's like, do I want to send people to see this today?
That's the thing.
Right?
And that's where it's
and
at.
then you could even go live on TikTok just from your perspective.
Right.
Not even dealing with him either and talking to TikTok the whole time. Or
Yeah.
live on YouTube even. It's a lot to add on your plate.
It
I
is.
get it.
It is.
But as like the Robby and Rochelle brand,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is so much more there.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean,
But it's like you're also at the age where you're like, do I give a
it's not even yes. Yes. Do I
Like,
give a and
do I give a fuck?
do I have the time? Because it is,
It
you
is
know,
time-consuming.
between
Ask me when I'm going to edit this and actually air it.
right, between
I'll see
doing
you at Christmas.
I know.
Right,
and then
James, no, I'm
It's
taking
true.
off next month.
It is true though, but because if I am going to edit it where I'm okay with it, you know, if it's just our voices, it's one thing, I suppose, but there's still a lot of editing that goes into that. And then I travel all the time. And I do have a second job that I do on top of radio 3 days a week. So it just, I write, I work for a prep service and I
Oh
write
my
prep.
God. You do?
I do. And so,
We'll
and then
talk
we
about which
also
one
work
after
for
this.
Scott Shannon and do stuff for
Oh,
him.
yeah,
and,
you're busy.
And he is the only fill-in, the alternate voice on True
Yeah, you
Oldies channel.
can't
So
do
it's just
anything,
like,
yeah. You're like, add more to my business,
As much as
Rachel.
we-
Thank you
I
so
know.
much.
yeah.
But then I'll tell you how much money you can make from AdSense on YouTube, and then you'll be like,
I
wait,
know.
why are we doing all these other things?
I know, and that's where I'm telling him this is not money that goes to our company. This is money that goes to
This is
us.
Our well, we'll talk about it after. I'm gonna rail you in a minute.
Okay.
And not in a bad way. James knows because I've already taken him through it.
Yes.
That's everything. I had one thing here. It was an old topic of yours, but I don't
geez.
because you have a family friendly parent company. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not taking.
I don't
you
have a
there.
family friendly parent company. I mean, they're not really family friendly.
You want to hear the topic?
Well, sure, you can throw the topic out.
And then we can edit it out.
And then it's not family.
James is like, do it. James, you're a terrible influence. Wait, let me get counter video.
Other side video.
Other.
Now I'm really intrigued.
This should be the
I know. What is
Exactly.
this?
What was I too scared to ask her? Because I don't think she's going to answer it.
Oh my God.
Fuck you, James. All right, here's the topic. Because this is where my brain goes.
And you're a sick
2015.
person.
You wrote it.
Oh.
Where do you sneak off to have day sex? After talking to a few of my other mom friends, I realized that every parent does this. A few of my girlfriends said they sneak off to the shower to have day sex. A few others said they pretend they're taking a nap. One friend said that every time they go to the movies, they fool around because they co-sleep and it's the only place they can bake cookies. Have you had sex in the studio?
I will answer this.
You will.
I will. Not in our current studio.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, yay. I'm so happy.
Is that the answer you were looking for?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Did he have a heart attack though? Because you seem more like, even though like you're a control freak, I also feel like you can turn it off sometimes
Yeah.
and relax a little bit. Whereas
Yeah.
I feel like him the whole time would be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Or like did both of you just go along with it because it's like, let's
Yes.
just do it. If we're going to do it the one time, let's do it.
Well, here's the thing.
Unless it was more than one
because
time, but that's
because we are working together so
Yeah.
much, and I'm not going to say which studio it was because
No,
we've worked in
don't,
several.
It's fine. You've been, yes.
But we would, there
Many.
are times when we would go to a show or go somewhere for the station and then have to go back to work because we have more work to do because we're just not done with our day. And by that point, sometimes it's 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And you know
We're
what?
never going to be intimate ever.
This is where we're
Because-
at. So this is what's happening. And
Oh, I'm so proud of you guys for doing that.
and again, if you went to a show or you went to dinner and you had a few drinks, that also helps.
Yeah.
So if you have to go back and do
Well, plus at that time, like usually the stations are empty. Nobody else
Empty.
is there. So
Right.
you don't have to worry about anybody like coming in or like ruining
Yeah.
the moment.
Right.
And it's like we are literally together and we work together. When else are we going to have intimacy except
Right.
when we get home and we're so exhausted?
Right.
Like sometimes the moment is the moment.
Right.
If you want everything from us at a certain point in time, then you can give us the privacy of a room to have sex in.
and like you said before, once you take your shoes off,
Oh God, you're done.
it's the end
I'm
of the
like,
day.
no.
So if it's been a day where you've worked all day and then you had to go to a
Remind everybody is 3 a.m.
Right.
till whenever the you're
Right.
done. Then you're going to a show or an event, which
Yes.
is until like, what, 11, 12?
Sometimes.
And then you have to bring that audio back.
Right,
And,
and
you're
then
like,
you come
great,
home,
let's
and
again,
Yeah, so this is,
do
it's
it all
either,
over again.
it's now or never.
Yes.
It's now or never. So
Oh my God, I love you for being
I love you.
honest.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that I should ask you?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of an open book if you want to ask me something. If there's something
no, I
you
feel
feel
like
like,
that was everything.
I mean, yeah.
I know.
My life really isn't that, like, I work and I see my kids and my whole life is
It's
work.
just when you have the public job, I think people have this perspective
Yeah.
of, because I'll still go to the grocery store. My kids hate going to the grocery store with me.
Yeah.
Because
Did
all
you
of a
get
sudden you'll have
recognized?
people like turn around and be like,
Yeah.
wait, I know you. It's like, you don't have to whisper it to me. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I know you know
Like,
who I am. Yeah.
I know who you are. It's like, yes, I know. It's okay. And I have no makeup on. I look like and this is what I really look like.
Yeah.
But I still sound like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the negative? Because that's, in the beginning, it was always just whatever. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And I think now I take it more personally because it's my own brand. Does that make sense? Where
Yeah.
like I am more myself and this is real now. Whereas when like you're a radio host, you're like,
It's a different
you're
person.
on a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. I think people forget that we're people. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's with
And
any
it's
troll though.
it's
Like, ugh.
I know, but it's so funny to me that in this world where everything is vlogged or everything is on camera and everybody expresses their day, they wake up in the morning and this is how I brush my teeth and this is how I do my makeup, that people forget that you're still a person.
Right.
And it's so frustrating to me because I'm like, you do understand that if you're saying something negative to me that I am going to see it. And would you say that to my face or are you only brave because you have a keyboard in front of you? Because it's nasty. Like why do you think that's okay
some
to
of
speak to
it's
some?
so nasty.
You know,
where you're
like-
wait.
Right. And it's
How in like you writing this and pressing return and send, like there was no logical point in your brain that you were like, maybe this is too mean and I should just keep it to myself.
right.
It's fascinating.
It's we deal with it and I'm an asshole. Like I really am. Because if somebody says something to us it's always on socials. Nobody will ever come up to you and say it. I'll come back at them. I will. I don't care. And again, I do work for a wonderful company that is just is okay with most of it. And I have a little decorum.
Well,
but
you've never been.
no, but I will flat out say, why do you think that's okay to speak, whether you're talking about me or him or something that we talked about with our kids, why do you think it's okay to say that? Like, didn't you ever hear if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all? Like, we're not 12 years old.
Right.
Why do you think that's okay? And usually they all back down or they delete their comment every once in a while you get somebody who will just want to argue for the sake of arguing.
Exactly.
But just in the realm of the world, like why do you think it's okay to go behind your keyboard and speak to anybody like that?
Correct.
Keep it to yourself. If that's how you
Makes me
feel,
nuts.
keep it to yourself. Like if you don't like the show, don't listen. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
That's how I was literally like, you could like when on social media you can literally flip to the next thing
Turn it
or
off,
like literally
right.
press unfollow or like never
Right.
follow me again. I don't understand why you had to say this to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There was a moment when I left radio, knew I wanted to do something for myself, started to do a bunch of different things, thought like for a moment I was going to be like a mommy vlogger, like right when COVID hit and it was like women took off with their
Yeah.
and I was like, I am having a hard time because I didn't want to be like everybody else, right? Like what is my true voice now? Because I
Right.
came off of being a radio personality. That everything is escalated. It's an amplified version of yourself, right? Everything is content,
Of
and it has
course.
to be good content. So it's like, well, then who am I really? Like, what story am I telling? What story am I telling myself? And then what story am I telling everybody else? And like the consistency of having to be funny all the time as a mommy blogger, even with the like serious stuff that they do. I was like, I can't. I'm just not in that space right now. I don't think any of this is funny anymore.
Right.
And so I remember posting about my day with myself and my husband. We own two businesses. We own a construction company. We own the media company. And so I can be in control of my day. I can do whatever the I want. And it's amazing.
That is amazing.
And we were going for coffee one morning because he didn't have a job that day or like it was like office work day, whatever it was. And I posted how happy I was to just like be business owners and like this is our day to day. Like we're going for a cup of coffee this morning together before like the rest of the shit happens. And then people posted just the nastiest about we only watch you to fail. We're only following you to watch you fail.
Oh, that's
And I
horrible.
was like,
Why? Why?
right.
What is wrong with you as a human being?
I never posted again for 2 years.
Yeah,
that's literally, so like we're coming off this like 2 years of me. I stopped posting, like literally only posted to like people on Facebook with like that or my friends and just stuff going on in my life. But was just like, then I have nothing to share with you because I'm also waiting for me to fail. And if that is why I'm doing this, then it's just the wrong reason to do any of it.
That's so like, nasty, though.
But like, again, you can't be any nastier than the negative voices in my head at the time.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, okay, wait, I had like a transformational life coach. Like I did all the things. I did the work, and it was like, wait, I just have to flip the negative voice around and like turn it into something different. And then also on top of that, just be doing this because I want to either make people laugh or give value or just give. Just that, oh, okay. It's not because I'm a personality. No, it's literally because I want to share.
Right.
And when you flip that, like, oh, I'm not doing it to wait for me to fail. I'm just doing it because I literally am creating. What I love to do. I have to get it out because I love doing this.
Right, right.
It completely changed it, and I was able to sort of start doing the thing again.
I totally commend you because it is hard when you're in radio or any type of media and everything is content to even just to go home and to flip it off, it's hard.
Oh, my husband will tell you.
Yeah, well, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't. Like as a quote unquote personality, you don't. And like my kids get irritated with me because I'm like, let me take a picture or let me do it. No, don't post that. I don't want to. And I'm like, okay, all right. So it's hard. I so commend you for just doing what makes you happy on your own terms because it is hard to do. Like it is, when you have those set guidelines, it's almost easier because you're like, I know this is the lane I have to be in.
This is who I am. This is the personality.
Right.
This is
and you're riding on the shoulder over here. So this is like, it's an incredible thing that you're doing. So, but I know those negative voices are the worst and they're so harsh and they're so mean. And, people just don't, they think because you're always laughing and because you have a smile on your face or you'll take a picture with them that you just don't feel. And I feel like I feel more than you feel. Like I don't want to.
We're also very empathetic because we can understand where you're coming from because our whole job is to be authentic and relatable.
Right.
So at all times, I'm trying to think of like, what is the storyline? How am I relating to this? What's the thread of the story?
Right. And how do I help you relate to it?
Correct. And I do that with clients now for their businesses. It's like, okay, I'm not just selling insurance. Like, like, why are you doing the thing that you're doing?
Right.
Right? Like, why do you want to help people in this way?
Right. Exactly.
Why are you selling coffee? Like when there's 10 million other coffee companies. Like,
what makes your coffee special?
Right?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get people to look at themselves that way of like, we're going deeper than an ad. It is not an ad. Like you can do that all day long. But you're going to add videos to that of tell me your story. Tell me your why. Why did you start this? Why do you want to do this?
Right.
And I didn't even think anybody cared. It's like, no, actually people do care because it's the one thing that sets you apart from every other business, right? Like why are you different than every other radio co-host? Because you're you.
Right, right.
And people do want to tune in to see what you want to say and have to say and what you're relating to.
You're going to make me cry. That's so sweet.
But it's true.
It is true. What's your why is such a great question. Like, what's your why?
Right.
I think that's like a perfect way to sum up.
Some people can't answer that.
Yeah.
So what is your why? Why are you in radio? Why are you still doing this with your husband?
You know what's funny is my why is because of you.
Shut up.
100%.
You already knew you were going to start doing this.
Had no idea. When I got out, I went to a regular school. Then I went to broadcast school, and when I got out of there, I had no idea. I wanted to produce news, television news. I thought that I would love to do that. I would love to be behind the scenes. I would love to, I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like being on air. I don't like doing any of that. I like to tell somebody what they're going to do and be there. But yes, I love that. Had no thoughts of ever being in radio ever. And then I got the call that you were hiring for interns, and I loved that station from day one, loved the station. And I said, well, I can't turn that down if I have an opportunity to interview. If anything, an interview is just a good exercise to do. So the only reason that I am still in and have stuck with radio so long is because of you.
Oh my God. I love that.
You made me fall in love with it. You showed me, like, I'm going to cry because seriously, I say this all the time. You are my why.
I love you so much. You were so good. And I knew it from the beginning. I was like, this girl's going to be amazing. We have to use her more. We have to use her more. When you just don't have the budget and you just can't, I can only do so much.
Other than when you yell at me behind the phones. That was not my why.
No, that was everybody. That was
I
everybody.
hated being on phones with you.
But
'cause-
you understand, like, it's live.
Yeah,
And so it's
it's-
like you have that, like, it's on my back. You're not the one that's going to get in trouble. If it's up, it's me. And
Right.
so, like, I apologize for yelling. At the time, it's so hard to understand. It's like, why am I in trouble right now? It's like, you're not in trouble. I'm just going to do the thing instead
Right,
and just,
right.
like, watch
We're
me
just
do the
gonna get it
thing.
done.
Right, we're just going to
Right.
get it done because we don't get that time back.
Thank you.
Oh, James, I love you.
Thank you.
So I
Can't
love
let the
you
lashes
so much
fall
for
off.
saying that.
Took a long time to get on there, you know.
But I'm very good at spotting talent, and you are absolutely amazing in so many different ways, and you just got it. And it's not a lot of people just get it immediately. And your voice is beautiful, and it's so good. And I hope he knows, like, and I'm sure he does, how like lucky he is to have you, not only as his co-host but as his wife.
I
You're
think
a
he knows
incredible human.
Thank you. You are
You
too.
really are. You always had my back, like no matter what was happening, and you were like married with kids, so I know how hard that is too. It's like, oh, it's not like you were a little kid in college.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I
you
think I
had
was
a
the
fucking
oldest
life.
intern.
You
I was
probably
the
were
oldest
at the time.
intern.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I'm just so happy that you continue to pursue this. Because there's other people that I thought were going to be huge in radio and just completely like let it go and
It's
didn't want to
hard.
do anything. And
It's
I'm just
hard.
like, I get it.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, you could do amazing things, and like you're doing the thing. So I'm so proud of you for doing the thing.
Thank you. I love you.
People want to hear you guys. Do you stream live?
No, but we probably should. We
Okay.
probably will stream live at some point. We just haven't. You know, that's a lot of work to figure out where the cameras and everything are. You know, we do have an app, so you can listen live. You can stream live on the app.
You can't see you guys.
You can't see us,
Okay.
which most mornings is a blessing for you.
Yeah, I would-
But it's 1071 The Boss online.
Okay.
1071theboss.com online,
Okay.
or there's an app. You just search 1071 The Boss on the App Store, and you can download the app and listen live on there. And then we always have a podcast that's posted commercial free of just all the best
that.
content of the day.
That's perfect. I'll throw some stuff in too.
Okay. I love you. Thanks for having me do this. It's super fun.